Go, Brandon.
Hey guys, I know many of you have been reaching out to me today after Biden talked about what the AFT was going to do all day today and said the word AFT instead of ATF about a dozen times. Never corrected himself, but that's a different story altogether for the potato in chief. But I know a lot of you guys are waiting on me to kind of break down what was talked about today, what was discussed, and what was put forth for the ruling in terms of privately made firearms. Guys, the ruling, here we go again, with bureaucracies and politicians trying to make things as confusing as they can so that you give up and just say, whatever. I'm not doing that. The ruling is 364 pages long. I'm reading all 364 pages. Right now, I am up to page number 155. So I'm not even halfway done with it right now. I kind of found it odd that there was so much data in here, so much that we were going to be talking about, and it was just in terms of privately made firearms, or what they call ghost guns, a made-up term. So I was like, man, that's a lot of stuff. It's because it's typical bureaucracy in Washington fashion that's not all that's in here. One of the things that I want to point out real fast that I want you guys to be thinking about before you get to see my breakdown of the new ruling. Now, I will say this before I go into that real quick. I think it's going to take me several days to break this down in separate videos. In other words, if I try to take the 364-page ruling, and I don't mean reading all 364 pages, because some of it is kind of redundant. I'm talking about explaining what all of this means would take me hours. So I'm probably going to take sections at a time and break them down based on what the topic is and cover each topic individually in individual videos, because again, it's just too much to go over all at once. But one thing I want to put out there, and I want you guys' minds to be thinking about this going into tomorrow when I first start putting those videos out and releasing them, because again, I'm going to finish reading this tonight. I want you guys to be thinking about this. One thing that has bothered me more than anything reading some of this is how they're trying to set future precedent in their own rulings right now. They have figured out the game. They have figured out where if they can, I guess, infringe upon our rights in bite-sized pieces to where we don't notice that we're taking a bite. It's like the rat dying of a belly full of poison. It's not the crumb that they ate that killed them. It's all the crumbs that they ate that killed them. And that's what I see them doing. And I see them figuring the game out. Point of reference. Definition of frame or receiver, where they have their summary of the final ruling. Addresses technological advancements and judicial developments since the regulatory definitions were originally set forth in 1968 and 1971. I know that sounds like blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you what I see when I see that. And I really mean this. This jumped right out at me. I get the feeling that they're trying to say now, remember, let's put this aside for a second. How many times have people said that the Second Amendment was for muskets? How many times have they said that? And how many times have we said there were no AR-15s, there were no semi-automatic shotguns or semi-automatic pistols back in the musket days? So we say that technology evolved, so the Second Amendment applies across the board. They're trying to say that by wording this as addresses technological advancements and judicial developments since the regulatory definitions were originally set forth, this is their way of saying that as firearms change and the technology regarding firearms change, we can then change the rules along the way because technology changed. You know, the technology evolved, so our rulings are going to have to evolve. Guys, they are setting that precedence with this wording. This is not the kind of wording we need to be skipping over and going, okay, next. No, that's the one that we need to be worried about. This is what they will reference whenever they come back later on and say, yeah, well, we know that muskets weren't, or muskets were the only thing around and AR-15s were not around, but, you know, we're addressing technological advancements in firearms now like we did with the ghost guns. They will refer back to this very thing because we won't make any noise about it, and they'll say, see, they bought it. You know, they bid it hook, line, and sinker. They went for it. So now we accept this, and then this gets used against us later.
Let's go, Brandon.